Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again. Today, as Grantland Rice has quoted, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. The above mentioned above mentioned lines perfectly suit our storyteller for today, Dr. Bobby Norfolk from St. Louis, Missouri, USA. Bobby is an internationally known story performer and teaching artist. He is three times Emmy Award winner, multiple Parents' Choice Gold and Silver Award winner, and a National Storytelling Network Oracle Award recipient, and is one of the most popular and dynamic story educators in America today. The faculty of University of Missouri St. Louis and the board of curators voted to confer upon Bobby Norfolk the degree of Doctorate of Humane Letters honoris causa. So let's welcome Dr. Bobby Norfolk. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening.
Namaste.
Yes, it is 9 a.m. in the morning here in St. Louis,
And
Missouri.
it's
Evening to
good morning
you.
for you and good evening for us. So, sir, the kids have already started popping in. I hand over the stage to you without wasting time.
Okay.
It's all yours.
I'm on, as I mentioned before, on Sherry's laptop. Can you record this for me and send Sherry the link to the
Yeah,
program?
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do
Please
that.
do. Please do. I would appreciate that. It would be
Thank
good
you.
for my archives. So,
Yes, I'll send it. I'll
okay.
send it. In fact, it will be available on our YouTube link as well. The entire live video.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would be able to use it. I'm not sure if you'll take it down, if it will
Yes, you can.
appear.
You can. You can download it. You can definitely download it from there as
Perfect.
well.
Okay.
Because it's going to be almost an hour video, so it will be quite heavy to send through mail.
Ooh.
I will either be sending it through Google Drive or you can download it from our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you. I
Uh,
hand over the stage to you. It's all yours.
Greetings and salutations from St. Louis, Missouri, which is in the central part of the United States. And I must say that it is indeed a pleasure being here with you this evening. Actually, my wife Shira and I were supposed to be in India this month in August, but there was this thing called COVID, which scuttled all of our plans to come to India for the first time. We've been all over the planet and we have always wanted to come to India because I must say in 1975, I became vegetarian and some of my best cuisine has been Indian cuisine. There are two Indian restaurants about a half an hour drive from us. One is called House of India. It used to be India's Rasoi, and then it became House of India, and then the other is India Palace. And so I probably eat Indian food more than you do. But I must say that it is indeed a pleasure. And I have traveled the planet. And so in one of my travels was to Ghana, West Africa, and Cairo, Egypt. Now, in summer of 1993, there was this gentleman, his name is Akbar Muhammad, and he invited me to travel to Cairo, Egypt, and then on to Ghana, West Africa, to perform. And I could not turn that offer down. It was an offer I could not refuse, I tell you. So let me tell you the backstory of that trip and how it then relates to the story I'm going to tell you shortly. In the travel to Cairo, it was my first international trip in 1993. And so we flew from St. Louis to Chicago, Illinois. And in Chicago, we took the international flight. And then we stopped in Niger to refuel. And from there, we went on to Cairo. And in Cairo, we wanted to have our first stop to be the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau. And I took pictures. Oh, yeah. I have a paper trail. I would like to share the pictures with you. One picture that I took, and these are all with a little disposable camera. When we got to the Giza Plateau, This is the picture that I took. And there are 3 pyramids. The Great Pyramid is in the center, and you can see a little bit of the 3rd lesser pyramid off on one side. The next picture has 2 people in it along with me. Somebody took the picture for me. That is me standing in the center, pointing to the Great Pyramid. And I must tell you, the Great Pyramid was built thousands of years ago. It is over 455 feet tall, 1.2 million blocks of stone, each weighing about 2.5 tons apiece. And some people think that it was the slaves, maybe the Hebrew slaves that built the pyramid, but there's a discrepancy there with archaeologists and historians of how the Great Pyramid was built. It was originally called by the British Cheops. And then with further research, they found out Akhenaten, the Pharaoh Akhenaten, built the pyramid, and it was based on mythology, and it was based on mysticism. The mysticism behind Akhenaten is that he worshiped the sun god Ra, and he and his queen Nefertiti became the worshipers of the sun, the giver of life. Life would not be possible if it were not for the sun that sits in the center of our solar system. And the planet Earth, 3rd planet from the sun, revolves around that great sun every 365 and 1/4 days a year, creating 4 seasons. Akhenaten and Nefertiti were mystics. And so when the founding fathers of America began to plot out what is now these United States, they used the knowledge of the Egyptians, and they built the Capitol Mall in Washington, D.C. George Washington, the first president, he was a Freemason, and it was a secret organization based on mysticism. Even though people like Thomas Jefferson, 3rd president of the United States, and George Washington were mystics, they also held slaves. They were owners of people from Africa. So there's a discrepancy there in what is true mysticism and what is just basic greed. But that is another story for another time. When I went to the base of the Great Pyramid to show you the scale of it in true form, this is the picture that was taken. Some of the blocks had fallen off of the base of the Great Pyramid. And so I sat on one of these stones and the picture was taken. And now you can see the true scale of the Cheops, or the Pyramid of Akhenaten. From there, from Cairo, we flew to Ghana, West Africa, capital city, Accra. And there we visited the slave castles or slave dungeons. And at one point, we went to one of the slave castles and we saw the blood, sweat, and tears of the West African people being in bondage and then taken to the slave castles. And then their will was broken, their spirit was broken. And then the tour guide, the docent, he went to these huge doors. When the doors were open, there we saw the Atlantic Ocean coming in. Those doors were called the doors of no return. From there, we went to the cultural capital of Ghana, West Africa, the city of Kumasi. In Kumasi, the Ashanti people reigned there for centuries. And in Kumasi, we sat down with some of the leaders of the Ashanti people. And I looked around, there were 35 of us on this tour from the United States, right? And I was the only storyteller. And we had a question and answer period and nobody was talking about story. So I had to do it. I had heard for so many decades as a storyteller about this mythological creature named Anansi. Anansi, Anansi the spider, the arachnid, the eight-legged one. But he is a shapeshifter. I found out he can shapeshift from the eight-legged arachnid, morph into a man. He's the trickster. In human psychology, Carl Jung came up with this idea that within us are these archetypes within our personalities embedded in our subconscious mind. And so Anansi was the trickster. We all have a bit of trickster in us, don't we? So nobody was talking about storytelling. And I raised my hand and I asked one of the women who was an official there in Kumasi, I said, ma'am, what is the cultural significance of Anansi the spider? Ooh, Anansi, him spider. She said, every day at 4:30, when I was a young girl, we stopped everything we were doing and we had Anansi time. And I thought, how cool is that? Wow, Anansi time. So that became the title of one of my CDs, Anansi Time. And one of the classic stories in Anansi Time is where Anansi had morphed, had shapeshifted into a human. That he retained some of his mythological, mystical powers. However, he could not control nature and the elements. And in this story, there's a drought and there's a famine. And there is the plot as it's laid in the story called Anansi and the Magic Cauldron. In Ghana, West Africa, for several weeks, the rains had refused to fall. The rivers and lakes receded. They became lower and lower and lower. And the crops that came out of the ground grew up about 3 inches. But the sun, 125 degrees Fahrenheit, baked those crops bone dry. They went back into the cracked soil and died. The livestock and the wild animals could find no food or water. The animals became thinner and thinner and thinner. And they all fell over on their back. Boom! Hooves up in the air. Anansi had morphed into a man. He was walking around looking for food and water. He said, there's no meat on those bones. No meat on those bones either. The creek is dry. So Anansi called a family meeting. His eldest son was named Tikuma. His wife, Esau. He said, family meeting, family meeting. Everybody sit down in the living room. Everybody sat. Boom. Tikuma, teenager. Yeah, Pop, what's up? I will tell you what's up, son. We have no food in the house. Tell me something I don't know. Boy, will you be quiet? All right, Pop. Boy, go that way. Look for food in the forest. Wife, Esau, you go that way. I'll go this way. Let's meet back in an hour. They had their assignments. Everybody left, met back in an hour to report. The only thing that hit the dinner plate that night, bugs, worms, tree bark. They tried to find food, but the only thing that could hit the plate that night, bugs, worms, tree bark. Anansi's eldest son, Tikuma, got very insulting with his father, yelled at him, Father, come here. You're so brave and have such magical powers. Why can't you not find us some food? Anansi said, you talking to me, boy? No, ordinarily, I would not allow you to talk to me like that. But Anansi knew the boy was correct. He wasn't in his right mind because of hunger down in his stomach. So Anansi thought he would try his magic one more time. He went to the kitchen, opened up the cupboard doors, took out a goblet of wine, and then he took it and he poured it into a cup. He took the goblet cup to the sacred grove. He set it down in the forest floor. He said, O spirit of the forest, you who are great in wisdom and understanding, help my son to find food and water. I asked this, O spirit in the forest. And then Anansi arose and he started looking for food once again. He walked around for about 15 minutes and he came to a clearing in the forest. And right there in the middle of nowhere was a huge black cauldron. He said, whoa, look at that big cooking pot. Wow, maybe it's full of soup. He crept up on the big cooking pot. He touched it. It was cold. Well, maybe it's full of vichyssoise, cold potato soup. I like that too. But when he peered inside, it was empty. Oh man, I wonder who left an empty pot in the middle of the forest like this, as hungry as I am. Well, he said, maybe it has an inscription or a name on it. I can take it back to its proper owner. But as soon as he said that, the pot responded, my name is Do What You Can. A pot can talk. The pot said, yes, Anansi. My name is Do What You Can. He said, what are you able to do? Do what you can. The pot said, well, try me and see, Anansi. Anansi stood back against a palm tree. All right, pot, do what you're able to do. Boom! And as soon as he said that, food from all over the world jumped out of the pot and sat down on the ground in front of Anansi. First, little bowls of cereal with all sorts of milk and bananas all up in it came out. And then there was mugu gai pan, chicken chow mein, there was lo mein, Szechuan shrimp, egg drop soup, baby back ribs. He looked down, ooh, there was all sorts of other foods from all over the planet that sat down in front of Anansi. Spaghetti and meatballs, turkey and dressing in cranberry sauce. He kept looking. There were vegetable samosas and palak paneer. Ooh, there was naan. There was roti. He kept looking over there. There was more food that kept popping out from all over the planet. He said, wow, it must be supper time. He ate. Then he put food in his pockets and he ate. He put food in his pockets and he ate and he ate and he ate and he ate. Then he said, brrr. He was full. Still food spread out all over the ground. He said, I'm taking some of this back to my family. Then greed set in. I don't want them to have all this best food. I think I'll keep the best food for myself. So he went over to where all the meats were. He took back all of the fine red meat that he liked. He looked over there. He took back all the Italian food that he liked. He took back all the fine Indian food that he liked. He took back all the American food that he liked. And then he left his family scraps. And then he went and made a big sled out of bamboo and twine. He took the food he desired, put that on one side of the sled. The scraps he didn't like, put that over there. Then he went to the cauldron, and the cauldron said, Anansi, do not take me from the forest. Come and visit me whenever you like. But if you take me from this forest, you will be in big trouble. Anansi replied, excuse me? Shut up, pot. Pow! I run the show. Don't tell me what to do. He disrespected the pot once. I guess the pot swishes. He put it on the sled. He started dragging it home. But halfway home, he said, I don't want my family to know about this best food. He took the best food and put it into some bushes and covered it up with blankets. He took the scraps and he took that home, opened the door. Hey, so my wife, Tikuma, my son, all my young children, come and see what your clever father has done now. The family walked into the room. Anything looked better than bugs, worms, and tree bark. They dove into the food. Oh, Daddy bought food. They started bathing in the food. And I just said, yeah, eat. There's some bologna scraps in the corner. His son said, Father, don't you want to join us for dinner? And Nancy said, no. I don't need any food right now. My only joy is to see you happy. He was too full to eat anymore anyway. So as the family continued to eat, he went back outside. He built a small hut out of straw and bamboo. He took the pot, do what you can, hid it inside the hut, and locked the door. And every day when he was by himself, he would go out to that hut, unlock the door, open it, pull the cauldron out, and say, do what you are able to do. Boom! Food from all over the world jumped out of the pot and sat down in front of Anansi. He looked over. Ooh, there was some Mexican food this time. There were burritos and quesadillas that sat down. Guacamole. And he ate. Took the scraps home later. He did that every day for 2 weeks. Finally, he got too lazy going out to the hut, coming back with scraps. He thought he would sneak the pot home unnoticed. So that day, he went to the hut, unlocked the door, opened it up, took the pot out. It was dusty and dirty. So he took it to a creek. There was a trickle of water. He started washing the pot off, and the pot was happy by being cleaned up, but still upset for being stolen from its original home in the forest. And the pot told Anansi, what now? Whatever you do, never come near me with the seeds of palm nut kernels. And above all, whatever you do, never touch me with the kernels of palm nuts. Anansi said, excuse me, shut up, pot, pow. Don't tell me what to do. I run the show. He disrespected the pot twice. He took the pot home. Nobody was there. Good. He went to the garage. He got a ladder, put it against the side of the house. He started to climb the ladder with the pot in one arm. Chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, 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 chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom, chick, boom, boom. Push over the straw thatch of the roof. Put the pot underneath the roof. Boom, roll the thatch back down. Descend to the ladder. Chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, 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 chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom, chick, boom, boom. Back to the garage the ladder went. And every day when he was home alone, spider style, he would climb that ladder, push open the straw thatch, peer inside and tell the pot, do what you're able to do. Pow! And all of that food would come out. And Anansi would be up under the roof. That bird. Take the leftovers downstairs later. Never did he eat in front of the family. Never did he give the family any of the best food. Until one day, his eldest son, you know him, Tikuma, went to his mom in private. Mom, mother. Yes, my son, what is it? Is it not strange that father always refuses food when we eat? Look how big he's becoming. What's up with that? She said, oh, my son, indeed, you have inherited the wisdom of your great father. But we know your father is greedy, sometimes selfish. He loves to keep secrets, but don't tempt providence, my son, by questioning so much. So just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Boy, leave it alone. The son backed off, but he still watched his father every moment that he could. Why is that old man getting so big not to be any food? Now, he can't be getting big off of breathing air. I know he's not a breatharian. He's not from Tibet. But Anansi, his conscience started bothering him. Why did that pot say don't touch me with the seeds of palm nut kernels? Why did that pot say don't touch me with the kernels of palm nuts? And then comprehension dawned. The pot can produce diamonds and gold. That's what it is. The pot can produce diamonds and gold. It doesn't want me to become rich. So one day at dinner, Anansi had soup. When the bowl was empty, he peered inside. Seeds of palm nut kernels were in the bottom of the bowl. Well, look what we have here. Money, 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 money. He put them in his pockets. He told the family, go to the sacred grove and pray. Yo, go pray for some pizza this time. When the family had departed to go to the sacred grove, Anansi said, it's lottery time. He went to the garage. He went and got the ladder. put it against the side of the house. He climbed to the top rung. Chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, 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 chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, chicka boom, chick, boom, boom. Pushed over the straw thatch of the roof. Reached into his pocket for the seeds of palm nut kernels. There they are. He said, "Hey, Pop, look what I have." The pot remained silent. "You don't want me to touch you with these seeds because you can produce diamonds and gold. Is that not correct?" The pot remained silent. "Oh, really? Well, watch this." He took those seeds and he touched the pot. Boom! There was a small explosion under the roof. And when the smoke cleared, the cauldron was gone. He had now disrespected the pot 3 times. In baseball, 3 strikes, out. The pot was a shapeshifter too, he found out. It was now along shepherd's cane. And now he said, who are you? What can you do? And where did the pot go? Where did the pot go? The cane said, "My name is Abreem. They also call me the Avenger." And as he said, "Avenger? Boy, you hang out with Spider-Man and Iron Man and Captain America? What's up with that?" "What I do is pleasant. Try me and see, Anansi." Anansi said, and what if I don't like what you're doing, Abreem the Avenger? What can I tell you to do to stop? Abreem said, "Don't worry about that, my son. As I said, what I do is pleasant. Try me and see." Anansi was duped. Hornswoggle. He was led astray. Anansi said, "All right, Abreem the Avenger, do what you are able to do." Big mistake. As soon as he said that, the cane whipped around and whacked Anansi on his backside. Pow! He climbed down the ladder. He tried to walk away. The king came behind him and whacked him. Pow! Pow! He started running. Boogity, 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 boogity. The more he ran, the more the king popped him. Pow! 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 Get off of me! And finally, his yelling and screaming caught the ears of his neighbors and friends. "Oh! Oh! Help me! I'm being beaten! Anansi's in trouble! Anansi's in trouble! Let's go help our boy!" Man, all his friends and neighbors came to help Anansi, but when they saw that cane, they stopped. Oh, pow! Ooh, they had their pow! Ooh, they had their too pow! We'd love to help you, sir. That thing might beat on us too. Good luck. Have a nice day. Peace. We out. They ran the other way. But the king kept on with this vicious swear. Pow, pow, oh, pow, stop, stop. And finally his wife, his son heard his screams. They ran back home. "That sounds like Anansi." But when they came back and saw what was happening, the wife said, "Oh, my husband." The son, you know his name, he ran forward with the courage of a young lion. He said, Cain, I know my father is greedy. I know he must have done something to offend you. But what can we tell you to do to stop? Because we do love him." The king said, "Well, say, calm down, boy." "What? Okay, calm down. Shh, calm down. Shh, calm down. Shh, calm down. Shh, calm down." The king stopped. It hovered, boom, fell to the ground. Once again, inanimate object. Now Anansi had welts and cuts and bruises all over his body. He went and sat down on the front porch. "Oh, ow, ow, somebody bring me a pillow. My backside is hurting." All his friends and neighbors came out of hiding. "Let's go see what happened to Anansi." "What happened to Anansi?" "He got beat up by a stick." "A stick? Who was holding the stick?" "No one." "Huh? The stick beat him by itself?" "That's what I hear. Let's go check it out." When everybody came to Anansi's front porch, one of his friends said, "Oh, dude, you look bad." Anansi said, "I know." He said, "Everybody, come closer, come closer. I have a confession to make. I've taken all the best food from a magic cauldron I found out in the forest. I ate up all the best food for myself, all the food from all over the planet. I ate up all the best food to my family. I just gave you leftovers. And to my friends and my neighbors, I gave you nothing. And now, because of my greed and my selfishness, I've destroyed the magic pot that produced food. And therefore, I want all my children and all my neighbors and all my friends and even strangers to know, never be greedy and selfish. Share with others what you may have. Because if you don't, punishment will be your reward." Pow! And that's the end of that. Ms. Rena, I'd like to bring you back in and we can start Q&A and dissect the story.
Yes. So, what are the questions that we can ask them? What is the name of the story?
Ah, name of the story is Anansi and the Magic
No,
Cauldron.
no, this is a question for them.
Oh, it's a question for the.
So now we need to change the question.
I hear somebody howling with laughter back there.
Yes, any questions, we need to ask them questions because all of them are getting restless. Ma'am, no questions. Please ask questions they want.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what all was laid down for food? Can this be one of the questions? Bobby, can we put this as a question? What all was laid down for the food on the table?
Food on the table. Okay, that is a question for me to answer this time.
No, no, no. They have to answer.
Okay, they have to answer. Okay, well, the question is
Question number one.
what food was on the ground? What food did Anansi eat? There were foods from all over the planet. I was seeing if someone could name some of the cuisine, some of the foods.
Yes, yes. Okay, the story's name is Nancy and the Pot and the Magic Pot.
That's close enough. Okay, we're still on question one. Yes, and
Question two. Question two.
okay.
This is, yeah, question three rather, it would be.
Did we get to the foods? Some of the foods. Can
No,
somebody?
they haven't yet answered the foods. They are still trying to answer the food.
Ah, they're still trying. So I give them question
We
three.
can put them, yes, we can put the question three.
Okay, next question is what was the son's name? And it can be
Son's name.
the son that saved Anansi. And you can spell the name any way you want. It would be nice if
What
someone.
was the son's name who saved Nancy? Right?
Yes.
Yes, there is one answer.
Yes, that was a
Quite
mix.
close.
Yeah, yeah. That was a mixture of the food that was before the magic pot. Ah, yes. Okay. I see some of the answers of question one.
I think we can give one more question. Yes. Two bugs and worm.
And that was the food before the magic pot came along. There were the scraps of food, but then there was other food that came out of the cooking pot.
Tikoma.
Ah, Tacoma. Yes.
Talk to him. Talk to him. Not him.
Tacoma. That's correct.
Yes. Tikoma, Tikoma, Tikoma.
Good spelling, too.
Tikoma. Yes. All of them are answering Tikoma. Takuma.
Yes, that is correct. Oh, everyone got the name correct.
Yes.
Ready for another question?
Yes.
Where did Anansi find the magic pot? Where was the pot hiding exactly?
Where did Nancy find the magic pot? Where was the pot? Where was the pot exactly hiding?
Yes, where was it? Where did he discover it?
Exactly hiding. Is the question correct?
Yes.
Okay. They are answering slowly.
Okay.
I think we can, yes, answer two bugs and worms and meat. We need to be fast. I guess all of them are coming very near to it, right?
Yes, that answer behind the bush is almost correct, but not exactly. And I'll wait
Exactly.
for a few more answers to come in. And teacher, you can let me know to give them the correct answer.
Let them finish. We have four questions. They need to answer them. And then once all of them are done, then we'll give them the correct answer.
Okay.
Somebody says Nancy found the pot near the bushes.
Okay, I see that.
You can see the answers, right? Popping up?
I can. Yes.
Good, 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 good. They're saying, ma'am, one child is saying, ma'am, I don't know about the third answer.
Are they still typing?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Hurry up, kids, fast, don't waste time. We are running out of time.
I am a slow typer as they are. I have to.
Yes, not everybody has answered all the questions correctly, but yes, kids have really tried hard and they are very near to all the answers. Like, let's see. Uh, I think we can tell them the answers now. They've struggled enough to get them right.
Okay. Number one, the
Yes.
The way Anansi found the cooking pot, he went to the cupboard. He opened the cupboard and there was a goblet, a bottle of wine, and he poured the wine into the goblet. He took it to the sacred grove. It was a sacred grove in the forest, and then he prayed to the Great Spirit in the forest for food, water. And then when he arose from the sacred grove, he was walking, and there was the pot in a clearing in the forest. It was in the clearing, no trees around it, no bushes. And then when he took the pot home against the pot's wishes, he hid it in the bushes. That's where he hid the pot, in the bushes, but he found it in the sacred grove in a clearing. Then he hid it in the bushes, and then later he took it home after he made a hut. And then in the hut, the pot was kept, and then he took it from the hut to the roof of the house. So that's the order. So in storytelling, there's a sequence. In sequence, the goblet went to the sacred grove. He then prayed. He went to a clearing in the forest. The pot appeared, and he took it home and hid it in a hut. And then he took it from the hut to the house. And that is the sequential ways of where the pot had been throughout the story. When they had nothing to eat, it was bugs, worms, tree bark. But the pot produced food from all over the world. Food from Mexico, from Italy, from America, from India. Foods from all over the planet. And that's when the food of plenty. There's a big holiday in the United States called Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving, they have a big picture of a cornucopia, food of plenty, when this big, huge gourd has food that pours out of it. And that's what the pot represented, food of plenty. But it was greed and selfishness that destroyed the pot and punished Anansi. And that's when Tukuma, with the courage of a young lion. And I said, courage of a young lion, that's because a young lion sometimes has no fear about him. And he runs into the heat of battle. He will run into a herd of Cape buffalo to bring one down. And so Tikuma had courage, no fear. He ran forward when everybody else was running in the opposite direction. So who would be the hero of the story? Tikuma. I asked some students, who is the wisest person in the story? And they would say, Tikuma. Who's the most foolish person in the story? Anansi. One other question is this whole idea of greed and selfishness. Because what I have learned, and we must all understand this, and this transcends wherever you live on the planet Earth. So you give, so you receive. Some people call it cause and effect, yin and yang. You reap what you sow, and you give back 10% of what you have. And when you give back 10%, it comes back 100 times. So those are some of the elements in the story, the things that are hidden in the story, and the way Nancy ran. And so sometimes I try to get people who are listening to a story out of their complacency and restlessness. And I have Nancy running, going boogity, 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 boogity. Now that's something to rehearse, you students out there. Boogity, 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 boogity. Now, can you say that about 20 times? There are many Anansi stories, and what one can do is go online sometimes and Google Anansi, and you'll see all the various stories and how he is steeped in mythology and mysticism. And I don't know if Teacher Rena, you may have some questions you may want to ask me, and questions that the students may not have thought of, and maybe some of those questions I can answer before time runs out at the top of the hour.
Yeah, I will just send the invites to the children. We have Gitika, Manat, we have Shrishti, we have Akal Preet, Vartika, Yash Bhanushali, Kanishka, and what is Vidya's son's name? What is his name? The small boy, what's his name? Yuvraj. I am sending you the invites and please join in as soon as possible. Yeah, I have sent the invites. Please join as soon as possible. Gurneet, I'm sending it to you as well. Yeah, Bobby sir, by the time they join us, could we tell them a small story without questions?
Small story, no questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
story with no questions. I've sent all of them the links. As soon as they log in, I'll just pop them in and I'll also come in.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'll help them come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this story, it's an ancient fairy tale or folk tale from Norway. Now, Norway is in Scandinavia. And in the story, you may have heard of it. It sounds familiar to you. It's about a troll that lived under a bridge, would not let anything cross the bridge. There were three billy goats that wanted to cross the bridge to eat the grass on the other side. You see, we have this theme going about eating. But the troll would not allow anything to cross his bridge. The story is called The Three Billy Goats Gruff. However, since it's a children's folk tale, let's update it. Now, teacher Sherry, she took this story and she made it into rhyme. And then I took this story and I made it into hip hop. That's right. Dr. Bobby Norfolk is going into rap. Hey. It's called The Three Billy Goats Gruff Rap. It's a finger snap. And it goes like this. This is the tale of some goats and a troll. Troll live under a bridge, you know. He guarded that bridge every night and day. He gobble you up if you went that way. The grass was green on the other side. The goats decided to give it a try. The little billy goat was the first that day. His feet went trip, trap, trip, trap. Hey, who's that trip trapping over my bread? Hey, fool, be cool. It's me, you see. Well, I got a hunch you'll be my lunch. But I'm so small, you're so tall. Sit in the shade, you'll be repaid. There's a bigger billy goat in this parade. Well, he let him pass to eat some grass. The middle billy goat was the next to go. His feet went trip, trap, trip, trap. Yo, who's that trip trapping over my wheel? Hey, fool, be cool. It's me, you see. Well, I got a hunch you be my lunch, but I'm so small, you're so tall. Sit in the shade, you'll be repaid. There's a bigger billy goat in this parade. Well, he led him over to eat some clover. The big belly goat was the last that day. His feet went trip, trap, trip, trap. Hey, who's that trip, trapping over my bridge? Hey, fool, be cool. I'm big, you dig? I got a hunch you be my lunch. I have 2 sharp horns to run you through, 4 sharp hooves to cut you in two. So come on up and give it a try. We'll see which one that's gonna get by. Well, the troll was a fool. He couldn't be cool. He tried to fight. The goat was right. With the 2 sharp horns, he ran him through. 4 sharp hooves, whip, cut him in two. Then the goat swam over to the other side. Work it. Woo. They ate the grass and they said with pride, work it. Woo. That troll was a fool. He couldn't be cool. He should have learned not to be so greedy. He should have learned to help the needy. Then the goats ate grass till they got fat. Trip, trap, trip, trap. That's that. That is that. Teacher Rena, you can bring us back on and we can conclude.
Yes, the kids are there, and I'm just popping them in.
Ah.
Just a minute.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I'm Mannat.
This is Mannat. The small girl is Mannat, and she has answered nearly all the questions. Mannat, आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है बेटा. We cannot hear you. Yes. Yes, you can talk to sir. And
Yeah,
Akal,
ma'am.
please.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. How are you?
Where are you from? Which time?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, yes. Did you have a question or comment?
Unmute yourself, Akalpri.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, Mannat, speak the question out. Sir will answer it.
Okay, I hear background noise, but I didn't hear the question.
Sir, which story do you?
Sir, which do you?
Sir, which story do you recommend for me to read?
Rena, it was not coming through. Was that a question from the young girl?
There is a problem with Mannat's connection, I guess. And Vartika, please come on screen. Akalpreet, Yash, talk to sir.
Sir, which story you like the most?
Which, oh, I heard that. Which story do I like the most? Who asked that question? Which one asked the question about which story?
Sir, I also have one question.
Okay, I heard
Sir,
one.
when you start this profession,
Yes, sir. Same question to me.
Rena, it was breaking up. Maybe you can translate. What was the question?
sir, when you start this
Same
profession,
question to me.
I'm getting background noise, but I hear somebody is asking a question. I think it's Akaprint.
sir, when you start this profession,
Rena, are you there? Can you get the question to me? Because I couldn't hear it.
Yes, they want to know when did you start this profession and how you got interested in it.
Oh, okay.
brilliant.
Yeah. I was a National Park Service ranger, and I worked for the national parks in the United States. And then I got involved in storytelling because I was involved in theater. And in theater, I was in about 10 plays. And with the national parks, I was a historian. I was giving programs on history. But then I found storytelling was a very powerful thing, and I could take theater and storytelling and put it together with history. And so I became a storytelling historian. And that's how I got involved. And I quit working for the national parks and started working for myself. And that's how I became professional storyteller traveling the world. And I think I heard somebody ask my favorite story. It's about a Sasquatch Yeti monster. And the Yeti Sasquatch monster is called the Hairy Man. And there's a little boy named Wally. And the Yeti monster is chasing Wally through the forest. And Wally has to trick the Hairy Man Yeti 3 times. Because 3 is a magical number. Because when Anansi was tricking the pot, it was 3 times. The story I just finished, 3
That
village.
small that small girl was asking a question. Sir, please suggest us good stories.
A good story for them.
Yeah.
Mm. Try to find the story of Anansi and his 6 sons. It's a very popular picture book, and you can probably order it at Amazon. And Anansi has 6 sons, no daughters, sorry, but 6 sons all have superpowers. And each son has a special superpower. And they save Anansi from wild animals in the forest using their superpowers. And so the book is Anansi the Spider and his 6 sons. And Takuma is not in this story. No Takuma. Different story, different setting, different author. And so the 6 boys help Anansi, and they use teamwork and cooperation. And also the other story is Wally and the Hairy Man, which is also online. Wally,
Sir,
W-I-L-Y.
sir, I would request you if you could send me the names of those storybooks. I can mail them to them.
Okay, I will.
In fact, there are other questions also, like at present, which type of profession are you in? What is your type of profession and all? So what we can do is, if we can get a list of books for all three groups, A, B, C, and D, so I can mail them individually, and the kids can go through through them.
Ah, and maybe even the audio. I may have some CDs in the garage where Nancy kept his ladder. So I can send the CDs and they can be downloaded onto a flash drive.
Yes, they can. They can.
Okay.
So here we end our session, kids. Okay. Tomorrow we will be back with another story. Tomorrow we have group B and C. So let's see what we have for you tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Bye bye and take care.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
ma'am. Take care. Bye, sir. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. So here we end our session, and tomorrow we'll be back with another new story. I will be making the announcement very soon. Thank you. Good night and namaste.